So I've been reading this book, Essentialism by Greg McEwen. It's great. If you haven't read it, I would recommend it. I'm not finished it yet, but I was reading it, and there was a little part of it that caught my eye that I wanted to share with you that I thought was super interesting. And it's basically a comment on what's called the endowment effect. So the endowment effect is essentially the idea is that if you own something, you value it more than if you didn't own it. Um, he gives the example of like no one's washed their rental car, right? Because they don't own it, they don't care about it. Uh, you can think of it. I mean, in your life, I'm sure you have so many examples. Everyone has so many examples, right? When you own a car, you value it way more than if you didn't own it. You know, someone else looks at that car and they're like, "Well, I don't really care about it as much as you might," essentially, right? And I was thinking, how can this apply in our lives outside of just things that we own? And it made me realize this can be applied to brands and even audiences or like podcasts or YouTube channels or really anything that there is a product or service or sort of audience essentially. Because what I kind of realize is that um, let's say you have an audience on YouTube, or let me give you a better example. Apple, okay? Why do people love Apple products so much? We've heard about this before. It's because of the brand, right? They love the brand. But I actually kind of think that the endowment effect that's being talked about in this book is looping in on the same concept. People who own Apple products feel like they also own a part of the company as an identity, the brand in itself, right? And it even made me think about popular YouTube channels or podcasters. Think about people who listen to Joe Rogan. Um, there is a parasocial relationship going on between people who they feel like he's like their friend, but there's also like a internal ownership there. Like if they listen to Joe Rogan and people and they like him and people, one of their friends says something negative about him, I don't like that podcast. There's like a defensiveness that might come up. That's that in action. There's like an ownership feeling, right? It's like if you own a car, someone talks shit about your car, there's a defensiveness that comes up. I mean, this is all ego related, which is interesting, but um so then I was thinking, well, you can actually it's incredibly powerful. I mean, you can use this in your business or audience or whatever because the more that your audience feels like they own what they're listening to, the more attached they feel to that channel or person, the more they value it, right? So it's like if you're selling a product and your audience feels like they own a part of that brand or they feel a connection, they're going to value whatever product you're selling more, which means they're going to pay more for it, right? Because there was an experiment in here where they were give half everyone a mug, okay, and they essentially said like, what would you think this mug is worth? And half the group they told them that they own this mug, and half the group they just said it was a mug. Okay, the first half of the group who owned the mug, they said they would value it at $5. The other half of the group that didn't own the mug, they valued it at 250. So just the concept of ownership essentially doubles the perceived value of something. Um, and I just think it's super interesting to relate that to not just a product, but how we actually perceive online connections and with an audience, a channel, whatever it might be. So that's just a kind of tidbit that I wanted to share that I thought was super interesting with you this morning. So hopefully you can take that and apply it to whatever way that you see fit. And even in reverse in your own life, if you overvalue something in your own life, just maybe recognize that it might be because of this endowment effect, that you might feel like you own a part of something, and in reality, that's overvaluing the thing. and sort of think of it, if you didn't own it or if you didn't have that connection, what would you actually pay for it? That's a great way to looking at it too. So that's my two kind of little thing I wanted to share with you guys this morning. So hope that was a value to you. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.